Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you all to Ace Tech Presents Ace Works, the knowledge platform powered by Amulya Mica, premium laminates. On behalf of Ace Tech and Amulya Mica, I extend a very warm welcome to our esteemed moderator and panelists. Thank you for taking out time to be here today, and to all the members in the audience who have joined us today. My name is Zeenat Khod, and I head the Allied Events Division of Tech, the leading exhibition dedicated to architecture, interior design, and building materials. Tech is known to host a wide spectrum of allied events at the show. This online session of Ace Works is the first in a series of 4 webinars that will be presented with panelists exclusively from Calcutta, which is happening now, followed by Delhi, Bangalore, and Gujarat. We are pleased to have on board Amulya Mica, the brand that adds power to this online series of Ace Works. Amulya Mica is one of the fastest growing premium laminates brand in India. A subsidiary of Purvanchal Laminates Private Limited, Amulya Mica is an ISO and FSC certified IGBC membership company. Under the dynamic guidance of the company's managing director, Mr. Rakesh Agarwal, Purvanchal Laminates Private Limited, better known as Amulya Mica today, started its journey from Gandhidham, Kutch, Gujarat in 2004. It was the beginning of the vision to build an extraordinary organization that would create a long-lasting value for its customers, business associates, while contributing towards the Make in India, Skilled India mission. Today, Amulya Mica is a government-recognized star export house, a renowned name in the Indian laminates industry, and is emerging as one of the major players in the global market with its presence in more than 24 countries. Let's take a look at their journey.
ये कहानी है एक सपने की। सन 1997 में पूर्वी भारत के आंचल से निकला एक सपना पश्चिमी छोर पर स्थित गुजरात की गोद में जा बसा। मानो पहाड़ों को चीरती एक नदी समंदर से जा मिली हो। ये कहानी है उसी सपने की जिसने करोड़ों घरों को बनाया सपनों का मंदिर। ये कहानी है उसी सपने की जिसने ऑफिस को बनाया एक ड्रीम डेस्टिनेशन। स्वप्न दृष्टा श्री राकेश अग्रवाल का ये सपना श्री बनवारीलाल अग्रवाल के मार्गदर्शन में आज उभरा है एक अद्वितीय हकीकत बनकर। अमूल्य घर सजा साथ निभा। वर्ष 2004 में अमूल्य माइका लेमिनेट्स की स्थापना के साथ शुरू हुआ भारत के घर घर को सजाने का एक सफर। 2017 में अमूल्य WPC भी बना इस सफर में साझेदार। चेयरमैन श्री ओम प्रकाश अग्रवाल तथा मैनेजिंग डायरेक्टर्स श्री राकेश अग्रवाल, श्री मुकेश अग्रवाल और श्री गिरधारीलाल डोकनिया की लीडरशिप में आज सिर्फ 15 साल की छोटी सी अवधि में अमूल्य बना है लाखों घरों के इंटीरियर्स की जान और हजारों ऑफिसेज की नई पहचान। ये 15 साल पूर्वांचल के लिए था अमूल्य को महज एक स्टार्टअप से लेकर एक ब्रांड के तौर पर स्थापित करने का सफर। कुछ गिने चुने प्रोडक्ट से लेकर 600 डिजाइन्स, और 100 फिनिशेस की क्षमता हासिल करने का सफर। एक छोटी सी वर्कफोर्स से लेकर 29 स्टेट्स, 400 से ज्यादा शहर, 70 डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर्स, 3000 से ज्यादा डीलर्स, और 130 से ज्यादा सेल्स पर्सन की एक फौज तैयार करने का एक सफर। गांधीधाम की एक छोटी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग यूनिट से अमूल्य को 20 से ज्यादा देशों तक ले जाने का सफर। आज अमूल्य देश के सबसे तेजी से बढ़ रहे लेमिनेट्स उत्पादों में से एक है। इसीलिए तो भारत सरकार से अमूल्य ने पाया है एक्सपोर्ट हाउस स्टेटस। और तो और आए दिन अमूल्य को मिलते रहते हैं विशेषतम पुरस्कार। और ऐसा हो भी क्यों नहीं, सुपीरियर टेक्नोलॉजी से लेकर ए ग्रेड रॉ मटेरियल, लेमिनेट्स की बेजोड़ क्वालिटी प्रदान करने के लिए प्रोडक्शन के एक एक पहलू पर अमूल्य करता है नो कॉम्प्रोमाइज। पर्यावरण और अपनी कॉर्पोरेट सोशल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी की ओर भी है अमूल्य पूरी तरह से जागरूक। और अमूल्य की सफलता का राज हमारे वर्कर्स, हमारे डीलर्स और हमारे कस्टमर्स का प्यार। उनका प्यार ही तो है जो रहा है हमारी सफलता का सच्चा साझेदार। आइए फिर एक बार एक नई इनिंग्स में फॉर्म करते हैं एक नई पार्टनरशिप।
साथियों, हम निकले थे अकेले, कारवां बनता चला गया। आज मुझे गर्व है आप सब भी मेरे साथ जुड़े हुए हैं। मैं इस बात पर यकीन रखता हूं कि यदि आपका साथ मिलता रहा तो हम अपने मंजिल पथ पर बढ़ते चलेंगे।
आप, हम और अमूल्य, आइए घर बनाएं, घर सजाएं। अमूल्य, घर सजाए, साथ निभाए।
What an amazing journey, I must say. Thank you, Amulya Mica, for being with us and supporting these series. Now coming to our moderator, architect, urban designer, artist, and theoretician. She's a contemporary architect who has been innovational in the fields of architecture, urban design, and interiors. The recipient of a number of awards for her work, she has been invited to present papers at various conferences in India, Bangladesh, Japan, and the UK. She's a visiting faculty at IIM Calcutta and a thesis juror at Jadhav University for postgraduate programs. She is the president of SPARK, the Society for Park Street Rejuvenation in Calcutta, member of Council of Architecture, Center for Built Environment, Indian Institute of Interior Designers, Indian Institute of Urban Designers, and Indian Institute of Architects, among others. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you our moderator for this evening, architect Monica Khosla Bhargava from Kham Consultants. Monica, over to you.
Thanks, Zenith, for creating this platform, and thanks ACETEC for creating this platform and for bringing together today all my friends, each one a stalwart in design, to discuss about the opportunities of using laminates as a cladding surface. Now, commonly used furniture, it can be categorized in it can be classified in three categories. One is solid wood, which is like the most expensive, as quality wood, we all know, is a limited resource. The second is plywood or board furniture clad with wooden veneer. And the third is the same ply or board furniture clad with laminates, which is the most cost effective. So I remember as a child, all laminates used to be referred as Sun Mica, because the company which popularized it was known as Sun Mica. In fact, just because of the brand name, I used to think that these are made of mica, but that's a myth, and the material doesn't involve any environmentally hazardous mica mining. So while laminates do replicate the wood look, today they also replicate a whole lot of other materials like fabric, stone, leather, metal, solid colors, and so on. So are laminates a boon to the design industry, or are they the bane, as they artificially simulate most any natural material? What do you say, JP? JP Agarwal, of course, needs no introduction, being the legendary architect that he is, and the way his firm Agarwal and Agarwal has revolutionized the architectural design scenario in not just Kolkata or Eastern India, but the entire country. Over to you, JP.
Thank you, Monica. Hi, everyone. I think it's an interesting subject to talk about the laminates. I was just Googling and trying to find out when laminate was introduced, or rather invented. So I found it is 1912. And if I try to locate when I got first introduced to laminate myself, then it was around when I was about 14 years old, means almost 43 years back, when it was used in my house. Okay, so this material is quite old, and it was introduced much after veneer. The veneer was introduced in 1907. And somehow I'm not convinced, but the Google is showing that the plywood was introduced in 1865. So almost 150 years back. Why I'm telling you this sequence of invention? Because if anything is invented, there is a reason behind it. All right. So there was a plywood. So first introduced first, and plywood is a raw surface. It needs to be treated. It needs to be finished. So initially it must have been people must be either painting it or using the veneer on the top. And suddenly one day somebody might have introduced laminate with a new technology. We can very well imagine that when it was first introduced in 1912, means more than 100 years back, what kind of a quality it must have been. And still somebody could manage to push it so far to an extent that now it has become so popular, and it is in new avatar altogether, I would say. We haven't seen the laminate of that age, so we do not know what it was. But I recall the laminate which I used to see more than 40 years back. And I recall the quality of laminate which I used to see just 2-3 years back. I would say very similar to the vitrified tiles. When vitrified tiles came and people started replicating the marble pattern, the Italian marble pattern and all on the vitrified tiles, and it was so pathetic. Immediately looking at the tile, you can make out कि ये तो कोई न कोई आदमी ने उसके ऊपर screen print सा कुछ कर दिया है. Now there used to be a marks of that dots of printing on it. So it was in a very pathetic, printing quality, and we used to, see the Italian quality tiles, and used to get amazed when they were, exorbitantly expensive. And later today we have got in India all best quality of print available in the tiles, and we don't regret, or rather we don't reject it, considering that it doesn't look so close to the Italian marble. The same thing happened with the laminate. The laminate quality just even 2-3 years back, and if I see these 2 years, there's a huge difference. We must say there's a huge difference. And sometimes, when the application is complete, मैं हाथ लगा के देखता हूँ कि laminate एक veneer है. Trust me. Particularly the matte finish laminates, and the one which are having little bit of a texture also, the 3D laminates, which are not the smooth laminates. One has to apply the mind to find out whether it is a veneer or it's a laminate. All right. So this is where we are today. Now, suppose still we have a problem, psychological problem, because हम सब लोग are in our if not 50s 40s. आप लोग कितना बड़ा मुझे मालूम है, I'm 57. So एक वो पुराना mindset लेकर के चलें. If at all we still have that particular mindset that no, laminate is very inferior. Laminate को use करना, veneer use करो, अच्छा natural होना चाहिए. I think we have to rethink on it. And I gave one example last time when we were discussing informally about the building which I was doing for Mr. Harsh Niotia, and he rejected, he had this notion that they don't want to use the tile which resembles to the wood. Why not a natural wood? but ultimately, he got convinced, and we put the tiles with the wooden texture on it. And it is, it's a far better decision than using the real wood, considering the maintenance, considering the longevity of the building, etc., etc. And the same thing applies to the laminate. I think that, when you look at the maintenance part of it, there is a huge difference between the laminate and the veneer. Huge difference between laminate and veneer. So the second part, eventually we talk about the green, we talk about everything. पर जब यूज करने का आता है तो हम लोग जो है सोचते हैं यार बड़ा गाड़ी लेके निकल जाओ जिसका साले का 6 किलोमीटर का भी एवरेज नहीं है. And we hesitate in using the small car which gives the average of more than 20 kilometers. The same thing is over here. We completely ignore the environment when we choose veneers against the laminate. Can you imagine that if there was no laminate and each and every person was compelled to use the veneer, तो क्या होता, एनवायरमेंट का क्या होता, नंबर 1, एंड नंबर 2 उसका क्या भाव होता, और गरीब लोग क्या करते हैं. So we must understand that I don't have a figures that what is the production of the laminate versus what is the production of veneer, but I'm 100% sure that the production of laminate must be at least 10 times more than the veneers in the industry. I think probably people from Amulya can give these figures. They must be having these figures. But again, when we look at the material, and we call ourselves a responsible citizen, and then we have a mindset of no. This is when you use the wood-like material, you are pretending. The word we use, we are pretending. Original use karo. What nonsense all this. Eventually क्या लगता है, कैसा लगता है, वो matter करता है. Why to get into it, whether it is imitating or doing what this, I don't understand all this, to be very honest. So I would say that what matters eventually is the effect. If your purpose is served, if you are getting a right effect, so why not even a millionaire or billionaires can use it in their own house? What's the problem? See, we designers have to convince our rich clients that if at all you are getting quality over here, if at all you are able to use it. In my own chamber, which you might be seeing in the background, it is all veneer. Because this is where I require a veneer. So not that a laminate can replace the veneer everywhere. I don't say that. I never say that. But if at all, we can use the laminate at the right place and in the right manner, तो ना mindset होना पड़ेगा उसके लिए. That's all. Probably it can be, it will go a long way in, helping the environment. And eventually we must understand that everything is a natural asset. By paying the money, we cannot buy the natural asset. We should not buy the natural asset just because we got the money. Well, now coming to the range available now to the on the laminate part. Sometimes I find difficult to store the catalogs of the laminate, and I'm sure all the designers must be having this problem. And veneers don't have that wide range. Don't get the flat colors in veneer, the kind of a flat. So to say that veneer versus laminate sometimes is misplaced comparison. You don't have to compare. Also, there are so many things which where the laminate is must. So actually it is not 100% replacement of a veneer at all. This is where I would definitely advocate the use of the laminates. And I must say that laminates are again there's a long way to go for some of the defects elimination is concerned, particularly the age of the laminate, which troubles all the designers a lot. वो black color का line आ जाता है, माथा खराब हो जाता है, तो accept ही नहीं कर सकते उसको. और कितनी बार उसको बोलो चोच बनाओ, ये करो, वो करो, neither the good quality machinery is available. So either you increase the thickness, why beyond, to the best of my knowledge, available 1.2 mm हो सकता है. Why not to go it up to 2 mm, or rather, if required, little bit more, so that उसको हम लोग ठीक से चोंच करके उसका काला लाइन को हटा सकें. At least give us a right machinery, etc., etc.
Thank you, JP. Let me see if Shailja can give us an insight into these issues which have been brought up by you. By the way, मेरा background दिख रहा है ना, सब laminate है.
Very good.
So Shailja Agarwal is the marketing director of Amulya Mica, and she's joined the company just a year and a half ago. She's achieved quite a bit in this short span, having promoted the brand digitally, created a printed folder, a catalog, and being involved in a whole lot of CSR activities. Shailja, JP's pointed out the cost and maintenance benefits of laminates replacing veneers. Do you see laminates replacing and replicating other natural materials too? And also, if you could, tell us about the ways of addressing the issue of edge treatments as brought up by JP.
Oh, I was on mute. So before I say something, I would like to say JP sir spoke a lot of things. Firstly, as he told that earlier, the quality of laminates were pathetic before 2 years itself, and now the quality has improved. So that is actually quite true. But honestly, I wouldn't agree with one statement that laminate is not generally. People have a perception that laminate is used for by the people who don't have the budget, or they have a concise sort of a budget, and the people with a very good budget, they can only use veneer. But I agree with one statement of JP sir that there are some places that where veneer is required, and that place laminate cannot take that place. Like when you design, since you all are designers here, when you're cutting and designing at those places, you actually need veneer, and those places laminate cannot suffice the place. But now coming to your point, where yes, laminates have kind of replaced natural products, natural materials, like not only veneer but marble as well. Like a company like ours, we like JP sir told that the highest thickness laminate that comes in is 1.25 mm, which we also make, and which is the most premium laminate collection that we also have. And very few companies in the industry make 1.25 mm thickness, because I think practically in India, a lot of people don't understand why do people require 1.25 mm thickness. So I would like to say 1.25 mm thickness is any day better than taking 1 mm thickness, because the plywood that we get in our country is has undulation. Like it's not like it's the same surface throughout. And since it doesn't have the same surface throughout, when you paste the laminates, it's also meant to be it can also cause sort of undulation on top of it. So if you have 1.25 mm thickness, it kind of brings smoothness on the surface. That's the reason why 1.25 mm thickness should be preferred if the client has a budget like veneer and can suffice that. And also 1.25 mm thickness helps you to get the textures and feel the grains much more deeper, since the paper is deeper, so it can help you feel the grains and the textures deeper. And I feel laminates can be used at a lot of places where veneers cannot be. For example, if a person, of course, if somebody doesn't have the kind of budget to use veneer, there of course it can be. But if somebody requires it at a good quantity, for example, if you require it for a big project, or for a household, for a residential project where a lot of same design laminate or same SKU laminate is required, I don't think that can be catered by veneer, because with veneer you have that group matching issue, which of course laminate doesn't, since it is an artificial product. There is a lot of paper that is available and can be made. And I also feel due to lockdown, due to this COVID, or even before that, everybody wants their projects to finish fast. And for that, they want something that is less time consuming. Laminate can be easily pasted within a day, whereas veneer requires polishing, then repolishing, which is itself time consuming. And like sir also mentioned about laminate being a health friendly product. So nowadays, a lot of companies like us also, we are also providing a laminate and antibacterial range. We've made our range antibacterial, so that cannot be done with veneer. And now I would like to address the main issue that Sir spoke about, that is the black line that is visible, the edge bending. That is your problem as well as a lot of other interior designers and architects' problems. Sir, I agree that laminate, of course, you will, that black line, that edge is always visible. But a lot of companies, including us, we are providing edge bending tapes, which are matching to to our laminate. And with us, we are not only saying that we are providing it, but we are also providing it matching on our catalog. Like if you have a look at our catalog, with the design, the edge bending tape is pasted right on the sheet of the catalog only. Like with our 75 range of laminates amongst our 110 ranges of laminate, this 1.25 with 75 we are providing matching edge bending along with the what do you say, the laminate piece. It is exact matching, and it is readily available everywhere where we are, where our laminates are available, our edge bending tapes are also available. So I think that can solve your problem at least till some extent. If not till all the extent, at least it is a step closer towards solving your problem. While talking about edge bending, I would like my tech team to also play a video to show how, the edge bending, matching edge bending is being provided by us, which can solve your this problem of edge bending. Tech team, request you to please play the video. Basically, my point was edge bending tape, if used of the same color and the matching one, can make it look, can solve the purpose of what JP sir addressed.
Thanks, Shelja. So let's ask my good friend Rupande what she feels about these innovations. Rupande, do you need to be introduced? Well, for those who don't know the queen of interior design in Eastern India, Rupande Shah is the founder and principal architect of the 30-year-old firm Rupande Shah and Associates. I think she started the firm when she was born because she looks barely 30 to me. Her work has been featured in many national and international magazines and coffee table books. Of course, I could go on and on about her achievements, but more importantly, let's find out how Rupande predominantly uses laminates in her projects and why. Tell us, Rupande.
Okay, firstly, thank you, everybody. And I won't go through the thank you individually things. So thank you, everybody, for a wonderful evening of fantastic conversation we are going to have. Now, Monica, we have, I think, established the fact that the laminate industry has evolved over the past few years. And I'm very happy to see that it has evolved. And it has evolved in the right direction in terms of its maintenance, its different designs, textures, which were not available earlier. However, I would definitely disagree with JP saying that veneers and laminates are quite interchangeable. Because for me, when I do very high-end interiors, the touch, look, and feel of the product is very, very important. And there is a gap over there. The feel of veneer versus the feel of a laminate is definitely different. Having said that, I will point out that I use laminates extensively in most of my projects. They are used, especially I use it where I need speed, as Shailaja mentioned, where I need a certain level of cost effectiveness, and where I need some stuff being portrayed, which I can't do it on a natural surface within the kind of framework of the space that it is. So I use it extensively. However, my use of laminates is limited to the exclusive varieties. For me, using the plain flat, plain Jane vanilla colors does get limited because I don't use those kind of interiors except when it comes to commercials or things like that. I particularly love using the textile fabric finishes. I love using the stone finishes. Lately, I've been using a lot of the leather finishes also. And just for information, recently we were working on a very high-end office building, and we've used leather finish laminates all over, even in the executive chambers and things of that sort. So I don't think laminate is a part that one thinks of using it as a second material compared to veneer. It's a good alternative, given the choice that you do it in the right colors. And I think it's evolved brilliantly. Shailaja, I use these edge bindings all the time. In fact, I think I used to bring edge bindings from Bombay maybe about 8-9 years ago when they were not even available in Calcutta. So certain companies had started making it in Bombay. So I use these edge bindings all the time, and they give you a fantastic finish. Besides that, to try and rectify the finish and join of laminates, we have internally worked out certain details that work beautifully. And I am very happy using laminates in a lot of places, but they don't replace veneers according to me.
So I totally agree with you, Rupande, on these issues that you brought up. Also work similar way. But let's try and find out what the young geniuses are thinking and how they work with this material. Aditya, share your views on the areas that you would like to see the scope of laminates, its customization, its quality, its longevity. Aditya Goswami is our young, shining star architect, co-founder of Architectonic Services, which is a highly acclaimed and awarded design practice. The best thing is that Aditya is involved from architectural academia as well as to architectural practice to designing spaces in interiors, architecture, as well as large-scale master plans. So let's have your futuristic views on laminates, Aditya.
First of all, thank you everybody. Thank you, Monica Di, for such a lovely footnote added to me that the word young for an architect, maybe when he touches mid-40s, so it feels fantastic that, you know, a young architect has arrived. So thank you for that. Coming straight to the topic, just before I get on to the question that you put, I hope I'm audible to everyone.
Yes, 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 sir.
So, I would just like to add one point to what Rupande said, and I think rightly so. Every material that we deal with while designing things, while conceiving spaces, while rendering and delineating spaces, I think every material has its own place. So the natural materials have their own place. Wood, as we know, has its own place. Veneer, I couldn't agree more that I would never use a laminate where I would want to use a veneer. And I think laminate, Shailaja, is again a misnomer that a laminate is, you'd be happy to know that it's a misnomer, according to me at least, that a laminate is a replacement in many ways to a veneer. I do not believe that. Primarily because a laminate as a product, as a material, is a finished product. It is a ready product. So just imagine you, and since I'm just drawing, you know, a parallel with Monica Di's question put to me, just imagine you doing toilet cubicles, partition frameless toilet cubicles with veneers. You can't do it. A laminate you can, because obviously it comes as a finished product. In fact, JP Da, my senior, was, I think, one of, so we were perhaps in our final year in our School of Architecture when he was doing forum, and which was about maybe 2 decades back, when he did the things that he did, including the toilet cubicles in laminates. So it was very nascent then. The qualities of laminates right now have skyrocketed, which I'm very happy to note, and congratulate all of you who are actively manufacturing laminates and bringing it to us. That's that part. Now, coming to the basic core of Monica Di's question, that how would I see the future usage or alternate usage of a laminate apart from interiors? See, laminates, the core of the word, the material laminate, is not mica, as put by Monica Di already. The core of a laminate is the craft paper. The craft paper is what gives the different finishes, textures, and the different colors, etc., that are provided to us. I would perhaps want, and I'm sure there are these customizations possible now. So I would say that when HPL came into existence and we started using laminates on the exterior, then obviously with that came the understanding that we could use HPL as an extended part of the laminate that we know on facades of buildings. That's number one. Number two, I would implore upon all the manufacturers, including Amulya Mica, to explore the possibilities of customizing wall art, urban art that we want our buildings right now to portray on the facades of buildings. So where we perhaps could replace, it's not just about cost, Shailaja, it's about, not putting extra load, facade load onto the building. An HPL would be a very light material. Instead of maybe, I'm a diehard fan of using the correct kind of natural material everywhere. So which is, in contrast with the webinar that we are currently having. So I put a lot of dry cladding, a lot of stone cladding to the facades of my buildings. But imagine a situation where we do not have to emboss a stone on the facade of a building with the dry cladding that we do, but we can do stuff of the same art spanned across the entire facade with HPL. I'm sure a lot of these customizations are coming in, but I think there's a huge scope where we can work with the industry, where today's designs are just not CAD based, but we've shifted to BIM softwares, where we can perhaps closely work with the industry partners as you are, like Amulya Mica, where we can perhaps share our thought process, our facade designs with you, where you can come out with customized usages of HPLs, where they already, while they are delivered at site, they come with numbered panels, like we do our glass facades. So they come with numbered panels which we can just, and I think that's a huge possibility, because you do not add to your facade load while you use HPL. And I think currently it's we initially I think we were circumspect, all architects were circumspect of how would HPL perform over the UV test and the external weathering, etc. But right now we across the world and in India, HPLs are fantastic quality, including your own material, Amulya. So I personally feel that it's an additive to what you have already in your basket. That's number one. And I think you already have an endless possibility of laminates being added into the internal wall claddings and the toilet cubicles, etc., which are already happening. So I think there is a lot of customization that is possible, because you can play around with the craft paper and then finish your laminate. So why not take a bit of design inputs from us, and while you your craft paper and give us a finished product, then that's all I would want to say, Monica.
So yeah, that was really an interesting take that you had, like on the way we can use laminates. So both Aditya and also Rupande, they're looking at their creative wings flying through the customization of this material. So as branch manager, Amulya Mica, Kolkata, Niloy, how do you see laminate companies assisting designers through innovation? Niloy Bhattacharjee has a 2-decade experience in decorative infrastructure, being associated with Merino, Green Lamb, Amulya Mica, and other reputed organizations. He works closely with architects, interior designers, and manages key accounts and clients like CPWD, L&T, Sapurji, Ambuja Neotia, SBI, etc. Let's hear you, Niloy.
I've had good afternoon, everybody. Aditya sir, yes, you were right. HPL has a enormous possibilities for the for your artworks. Basically it was innovated to safeguard the walls of the buildings. But now all worldwide, people are using it as decorative part. Yes, there is a possibility, huge possibility of making artwork on it. Printing is not possible because it has a limitation of technology. But you can use you can engrave it with laser cut or CNC router. By CNC router, you can make anything. For that, you have to give us the CAD drawing, what you want to do. So we can make it on the HPL. So there is a possibility. And further researchers also are going on this. So in future we can do all more better than this. But it is possible.
So that was very informative, Niloy, that we can actually engrave a laminate. I mean,
Yes.
this is an interesting thing that I've heard.
By CNC router.
And yeah, and I think that to some extent, the reservations and queries that most of us architects and designers have in our minds have been addressed by Shailaja and you. And coming to the last speaker of the day, Pooja Behani. Pooja, do you also face these challenges while working with laminates? Please share your experience with us. Pooja is a young, innovative, brilliant architect, founder of Spaces and Design, a highly awarded design practice. Her USP is that she uses the principles of pranic healing and feng shui to balance the energies in her designs. Please share your thoughts with us, Pooja.
Thank you, Monica ji, for your kind words. Thank you, AceWork and AceTech and Amulya for this opportunity. It's a great question and something that we address in everyday working to how to overcome the challenge and what is the most important challenge we face. Rightly pointed out by JP sir that the 1 mm thickness, the black line, is something that nobody wants to see in our projects, and we've tried to address that in many ways, some of which I would like to show the audience here. The challenge we face while application of this particular considering this particular avenue is how you hide that 1 mm due to lack of edge moldings, that were there earlier. But now, of course, efforts from Amulya and similar companies have come in, which kind of overcome this challenge. But we've tried to, have indigenous efforts in how to camouflage this. I would like to share that for a moment. So I hope I'm audible and my screen is visible to all. This is a laminate by a company, and Amulya has similar laminates. This laminate is enveloped in a solid wood molding, and we've created handles out of this. This wouldn't have been possible by adding an actual stone look, because it becomes very heavy. That's a closer look to kind of camouflaging that black edge that we so call in applications like putting it in a backdrop where the look comes from like a stone, but actually you don't really realize that it is not a stone. In similar applications, when we've put it on shutters, we've kind of pressed the edge of the laminate with the actual solid wood moldings and thus overcome this challenge. Another way to do it is obviously to, kind of have a profile that can be inset within the laminates, and all that you can get in a solid wood field can come out like this, just with the impression of a profile that can be added at the edge of the laminates. Efforts like this help in, kind of getting that upgraded look. Sorry, I'll just close my screen. And kind of getting that upgraded look. It's cost effective. We know it is eco-friendly, as well as it gives us the similarity of large quantities, what Shelja pointed out. So we've tried to use these kind of fascinating laminates in innovative applications. Another very good take and fascinating thing is, the linen look and the tweeded look that, has come up in the laminates. It's a great application for inside cabinets, inside wardrobes. Each time you kind of open the wardrobe, it is good to look at something which is not plain or which is not woody. This cannot be possible in veneers. So, some of us have rightly pointed out that there are segregations of material where one material could be used. It cannot be replaced by another materials. But having said that, laminate in itself has huge possibilities and innovations, and needless to say, we are in our own working adding to the the eco-friendliness of the whole planet, and that is something which is a great contribution from our own side. Yeah, thank you.
So I think we come towards a close, and in fact, this whole thing of discussing laminates today has been very educative for all of us, and the range that we are seeing that laminates are working in, like from really the smallest scale, from the smallest application, and to the largest. There is a question here. I don't know who is going to address it, that like laminates are highly used in kitchens, which we know, like it's not that in laminates are used in kitchen now. Laminates have been used in kitchen for decades. So there's a question asking about the fire retardance or the fire resistance of this material as a kitchen application. So would Shelja or Niloy or anyone else like to respond to this? Or both of you? Niloy, you're mute. Shelja?
Yeah, since he was talking, I was not interrupting. Yes.
So normally laminates are not fire resistant or fire retardant. There are a special quality of laminates available which are fire retardant, and it can resist fire for 30 to 45 minutes. But there are special kind of laminates, they are made to order.
Okay.
But that can be done in any design.
Okay. So I hope this question has been asked by Naresh Sahni, and I think it's helping him. I hope it helps him. So this seems to be the only question here. And if anyone else has any question here, we can, or want to discuss something, we can open up a bit.
There is a question that has come to me. I don't know by who. It's some anonymous attendee. So should I answer that question?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So somebody has raised a question saying, why choose decorative laminates over wood plywood? And can laminates be used for flooring, and what maintenance is required? So why choose decorative laminates over plywood is because, of course, if you have to give some designer look to your furniture or to any place that you want to, you have to use some sort of product that gives a designer look. That is why laminates are to be used there. And can design laminates be used for flooring? No, laminates cannot be used for flooring. And the third question was, what maintenance is required? For laminates, actually, there is no zero maintenance. No maintenance is required except just wiping it off with a wet cloth or something. It can easily rub off any coffee stains or any sort of stains that are there. It can be easily rubbed off. So yeah, these were the three questions asked to me.
So also, I think that the flexibility of a laminate is something which is far more than a lot of other material. And that's also something which we need to look at. The only places we do sometimes get stuck is those edges. So now we have a lot of options in that. So, especially if we can get curved edges, it'll make the design very complete, I feel. And I think we got some very interesting takes right from the history of laminates, where JP brought in, and the main use of laminates. The way he said, he actually spoke about the vastness of the scope of this material. And then Aditya added to it that, the way we use it so commonly now, like you cannot imagine any public building without the laminates in the washrooms. And they're an important part of that design. And then again, the exterior claddings that we can do with laminates. So a lot of times that, what I feel is that when we talk about not, feeling irritated about a black edge or something which is causing an issue with a particular material, a lot of it is because we are so used to some other material and are always comparing it to that. If we look at a material by itself and the possibilities it offers in that and work on those, in that case, we find that every material has a whole lot of solutions that take us forward towards design in that arena. For instance, in facade, today, when we have the application of laminates in facades, we don't need to take out so many concrete projections and so many shapes. Almost any shape can be created by an aluminum structure and be clad by a laminate and achieve a facade. So that itself gives us a lot of texture and a lot of beauty, rather than look at the way we were designing earlier with concrete. So I think the way we need to adapt with materials is also very important. And a lot of the young people, they're doing that. And I think the whole experience today was that we learned a lot together. And thank you, Aztec, and thank you, Amulya Mica, for bringing this together. And I'm sure everyone who joined in learned a lot.
Thank you.
Over to you, Zeenat.
Thank you so much, Monica, and thank you so much to all the panelists who've been here. Shelja, is there anything, like I want to ask a question. When we talk about Amulya Mica and about laminates, I just want to know, what is the reach of Amulya Mica?
Reach of Amulya?
The reach, pan-India?
Yeah, we are present pan-India. We have our warehouses across 5 places in India, and the 6th one is opening tomorrow. So
Wow.
yes, available pan-India, and we have our distributors across the country. And specifically, since this webinar is about the Calcutta about. We recently had an architect meet in November where we met all the panelists who are present here today. And we hope to do such events in future as well. And we have our warehouse in Calcutta as well.
Great. Thank you all, and hope to see you all again soon. I really, really thank you. I thank Amulya Mica for sponsoring this event and powering it. And I thank all our panelists for being here today. Thank you to the lovely audience who've been with us, the interaction as well. Thank you all, and we'll see you next in Delhi. Thank you so much for this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Selja, would you like to add something as powered by partner?
Nothing
I just wanted to add one thing for Aditya sir. Sir, the exterior HPL clad is, fire retardant. It retards fire for 45 minutes and then it doesn't leave any droplets. That is the beauty of it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so
everyone.
much. Thank you.
Thank you so
Monica,
much.
thank you, Zeenat. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
Bye, sir.
Rupande.
Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Bye.
Pooja,
Wonderful
Aditya, Niloy.
evening. Thank you all.
Bye-bye.